Hey, everybody, and welcome to another XP Network live stream. As usual, I'm your host, Jason Horodsky, CEO of XP Network. I'm joined this week by Justin Gibbs, game designer for Wyrd Games. We'll get to you shortly, Justin. Thank you so much for coming. Don't forget to sign up below. We have the QR code. If you haven't already signed up for this event, go to xpnetwork.com. It is the big featured event at the top of the page. Join the event and then scan the QR code below to get your bonus 50 XP. One lucky winner at the end of the show will win the wheel spin to get 500 bonus XP to the Wyrd Games store on XP Network. And as always, we have a Q&A at the end of the show, or in the middle of the show, I guess. So be sure to post your questions into the chat. We will be answering as many of those as we can going in. Updates for XP Network. We have the live wallet, so you can see the Wyrd Games XP score that you have. If you've earned XP throughout this Spotlight Week, your Wyrd XP will show up in the store on the wallet. The events and calendars are done. News and notification is done for the beta. Tournament and ticketing is done. Achievements are done, so you can earn XP and get achievements for first, second, third place participation, best paint job, whatever it is you want to do for your achievements. Discounts, prize support, and free swag is coming from your publishers straight to your retail stores and straight to you players. Communities, leagues, and leaderboards are all still coming soon. We expect to have all of that ready in the beta by the end of December, at the latest first week of January. Really exciting stuff. Don't forget to use your XP on the XP Network store. The Wyrd Game store will be going up at the start of the year, so you can redeem that there. Right now, the button is still missing, but that will be live, so you can use your Wyrd XP on the Wyrd Game store. Publishers, LGSs, organizers, be sure to reach out if you want to get more involved with XP, maybe have your own XP on the platform that you can give out your own achievements, set up your own leagues. We're ready to sign you up. Don't forget, Pong of Champions. If you have an iPhone, you can download Pong of Champions right now in the App Store. Link your account and get 3,000 bonus XP while supplies last until that beta is over. We're giving out 3,000 XP just for signing up. And then starting next year, we will have leagues and challenges on Pong of Champions, so you can earn XP daily just from playing the game. It will be coming to Android soon. We just hired a big Android team to integrate into Android, so you won't be left out if you're an Android player. And so one more reminder, Q&A. Don't forget to put your Q&A in the chat. Wyrd does not typically work on Fridays, so I want to give a special thanks to Justin and Nathan in the background, Kelly, for taking your time to be here with us this Friday. One more update before we get right into Justin. Longshanks. If you guys play on Longshanks, that is not a problem. Guess what? Our tournament software is free. We offer it as a service for Swiss, single elimination, double elimination, the leagues, and everything else. Continue to use whatever platform you guys use for organized play, but know that you can still do paint nights, RPG, loyalty points, other events, conventions, autographs, whatever it is, through XP Network. Earn your XP and use that in the upcoming Wyrd store that will be linked at the beginning of the year. So without further ado, Justin, who are you? What do you do?
I'm Justin Gibbs. I obviously work for Wyrd. I'm a game designer, lead on Malifaux 4th edition currently, and it's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for coming. Like I said, it's a Friday. You guys don't typically work on Fridays, so shout outs to you guys for taking the time. The fans always love that stuff.
Yeah, it's a hard life being a game designer, having to drag myself into work on a Friday. It's I will live, but I'm here.
They're working you too hard.
Yeah, I know. It's terrible. It's terrible. I have a lot to complain about. But I guess I just want to talk about Malifaux for a bit, about the transition to 4th edition. As a lot of people in the chat probably know, but a lot of people probably don't, Malifaux is a miniature skirmish game. Uses cards instead of dice. We use a regular playing card deck, essentially 54 card deck, but we have sort of our own suits. Adds a certain sort of theme and flavor to the game, but like you could use, like, if you're familiar with the poker deck, you're familiar with what we're using there to determine the outcome. It's a steampunk Victorian horror themed world, and the city, it's based in the city of Malifaux, where a resource called soul stones have been discovered around the turn of the century, helped to power magic, and it's created sort of a magical gold rush in that city. So it's a melting pot, which lets us have all sorts of different exciting crews and models, from drunken kung fu gremlins to blind sword fighters to undead monstrosities to steampunk abominations and all this cool stuff. So there's sort of like, if you can think of a model that you might like, we probably have something like it in the line. So check it out. But yeah, in terms of the game, it's fast-paced, skirmish scale, so like 8 to 12 models. It's very objective-driven. So there's one strategy that both players are fighting over for victory points, and then you also have secret objectives called schemes, which allows for bluffing. So you might get 1 point from the strategy in a turn, but you're also trying to score your secret scheme, right? Which adds a certain element of depth to it. It's very resource intensive. So managing your resources is a huge part of the game because it uses cards instead of dice. You have a hand of cards. And so when you go to determine whether or not an action succeeds, like you shoot at somebody, you want to know if you hit, you flip a card, and then you can cheat a card from your hand and replace it. And your opponent can do the same thing when they're defending. So like managing that resource is a big part of the game. If you like that about miniatures games, that's a big selling point. Also, the soul stones that I said that they're fighting over in the story are also a resource that you manage in the game. So a lot of resource management, very objective focused, very story driven and narrative with lots of cool models. That's sort of Malifaux in a nutshell, like top down overview. You've never heard of it before. You know, that's how I'd try to sell it to you, right? If you've met me at a convention. But there's a lot of detail to get into, right? From the individual characters and crews. Like, so when you're getting into it, you're probably going to pick a keyword, which is a group of models that can all be used together thematically, right? From like marshals who are work for the guild who hunt the undead, to Tri-Chi, which are the aforementioned kung fu drunken gremlins, right? And you'll collect models from that keyword, build your crew, paint it, and it all sort of works together thematically. Though you can take models from other crews too if you want. But yeah, there's 8 factions to choose from. And so you'll pick a faction, pick a keyword within that faction, get your models together, draw your cards, and then make your models kill each other like we all like to do. But yeah, that's a very top-down overview. Probably talk a little bit about 4th edition, what makes that special, because 4th edition, as many of you probably know, recently came out last Gen Con. And we were really excited to update a number of things in the game. I'll go over some of my favorite larger changes. Number 1 is we really wanted to use more of the terrain in the game, right? Because you're playing a miniature game, you have all this cool terrain, you have these buildings and this rubble and the stuff you've worked on. But in a lot of instances in miniatures games, that just sort of ends up being like, it's just impassable terrain, right? You could replace it with a piece of felt and just say, well, okay, we can't go there, that's lava, just move around it, right? And we really wanted to make it so that you're climbing the buildings, you're jumping across rooftops, right? Like you're going into the terrain and interacting with it. So we made scaling the terrain, getting on top of it a lot easier and a lot more advantageous. So like you're really making use of that, which is a pretty cool thing about 4th edition. Another one of my favorite changes is we changed how our scheme system works. Schemes I talked about briefly a minute ago. They're that secret objective. 4th edition introduces a sort of like narrative evolving scheme structure. So how it works is you choose your first scheme at the start of the game. That'll be your secret objective. Like, I'm going to assassinate their leader, right? And then once that's done, you'll score your victory points from it. And the scheme has a list of 3 schemes to choose from next. So like you assassinated their leader, great. Now you need to, make it look like an accident, right? You try to kill another model, make it look like an accident is probably my favorite scheme. That's one where you're trying to throw them off a roof, right? So if you get to do some damage to one of their models by making them fall, you made it look like an accident, you'd accomplish that one. And then, you could go into, like another one from there, right? So you have another list of 3. which creates sort of this narrative experience, right? Where you try to deliver the message, and that tells you who you need to assassinate, and then you keep going, right? So it's sort of this narrative play. And it also allows you to sort of like plan out what you're going to do throughout the game. Like if you can kind of figure that out, like I'm going to start setting things up. We have markers called scheme markers that you can drop that help to score the scheme. And because you don't know what scheme those are used for, there's an element of bluffing, right? So it's like, are they planting explosives and I want to be away from those? Or are those, a different sort of a different scheme that I actually need to be near to try to prevent? And I don't know. So you could start setting those up in advance, right? Like I know I'm going to do a scheme that needs these markers in 2 turns and start putting them down, planning for the future, or maybe bluffing with the one that you have presently, right? If that kind of makes sense. So I'm really excited about that system. I think that's really cool. Another thing that we introduced is the empower mechanic. I mentioned that Malifaux uses cards instead of dice. And in previous editions, you generally wanted the highest cards in your hand, right? Because higher cards are better. You're more likely to hit. The empower mechanic makes the lower cards in your hand matter too. So when you're going to do a duel, which is what we call when you flip a card to see if you succeed, you can discard a card from your hand that's the value of 5 or lower. When you do that, you'll get to flip an additional card and add the suit of the card you discarded to that duel. And the suits do matter in Malifaux, I should mention. So that way those cards value 5 or lower matter too, and that resource management gets way more intense. Because Malifaux has these things called triggers. So if you win the duel and you get the right suit, you can get a certain trigger. So your model might have a gun attack with the mask trigger to reposition, lets you move after you shoot, right? So you could say, discard the 5 of masks from your hand to empower. That'll add that mask suit automatically and let you flip an extra card. And then if you succeed, you get to move after. So you can look at your hand and be like, I have these low cards that in previous editions I would just kind of throw away, but this one's a mask and we use it to reposition. This one's a ram. I need to use it for a critical strike. This one's, and so makes all those resources matter all that much more. So yeah, those are probably the 3 biggest things I'm excited about from 4th edition. Another one I could talk about for a little bit is the way soulstones are used. In previous editions, soulstones had blanket rules, and soulstones you get by their leftover points from list building. So let's say you agree to play a 50 stone game, and you take each model has a cost, right, to build the list, like any game. 40k has points, Malifaux has points, right? So you add up your list to 50 stones, but you come up short. It's only 48, right? Those remaining 2 go into your soulstone pool. And those are 2 soulstones you get to use during the game, right? In previous editions, there were blanket rules that sort of governed all of them. You could use them to prevent damage or flip an extra card, but all crews kind of use them the same way. In 4th edition, all crews use soulstones differently. So you'll have like a crew card that sort of governs your crew. It has a few special rules on it. It'll tell you, here's what you can spend soulstones for. Individual models will have rules like that on their cards as well. So that way, like, the necromancers are spending soulstones to raise the dead, and the sword fighters are using the soulstones to hit you harder with their swords. And it's all just really thematic, using this magical resource to cast actual magical spells in the game that are different for every crew and for every character. It's just that much more thematic and I think cool. So that's another big change we're really excited about. But yeah, that's my spiel. I've probably kind of talked at you for long enough. I don't know, Jason.
I haven't played 4th edition yet, and that got me like pretty hyped up, to be honest. Like I haven't had a lot of time to play as many minis games as I want to, but I love your minis. It's 28mm scale, right? Or you're like a little bigger or a little smaller?
Yeah, is it 28 or 32? I don't know the scales. That's not my.
It seems like your kind of standard wargaming scale.
Yeah.
When I page them and stuff, like they seem like what I'm used to, right? Which is great. It means all the terrain works perfect from all the games. You guys have some really awesome minis. I really like the design. And now that you've been talking, I'm like, you know what? Like this would be a perfect game to get my wife into with me, because it's like, smaller bands doing skirmish style games is just like, it's really easy to get someone into that game compared to like 5 million miniatures for a big war game or whatever. So really exciting stuff. You guys have a lot of Q&A that popped up here. So don't forget to put your Q&A in below. We might want to just jump into this because the chat is popping. You ready for the
sure.
first one?
Yeah.
So will we see more Puppets War or new hats upgrade pack like the one from M1E?
I do not believe there will be any more Puppet Wars. So Puppet Wars was a game that sort of branched off Malifaux. I think that we will forever make puppet-based models. I don't think that's ever going to go away. I don't know of any plans for them explicitly in the future. But the Puppet Wars game, I don't think we have any releases planned for that. Hat expansions, I don't think there are any specific plans for that. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if we do.
Yeah. And there's a lot going on behind the scenes. You don't actually know everything behind the company, so I'm sure there's some things that even you don't know that might pop out anyway.
Yeah, if it's not rules related, I am not the best person to ask. Like the exact scale of the miniatures,
Yeah, I just know that it fits in perfectly with my collection, and I like that part. And also, it's Wyrd games, so you do make other games other than Malifaux. You just kind of alluded to that. So do you know like a lot of the game line, or are you really just deep into the Malifaux game design?
Oh yeah, I mean I'm familiar with all of the game line. We also make The Other Side, which is a larger army scale game. We make Vagrant Song, which is a cooperative board game. We make Pocket Cats, which is I'm not too sure what to call it, a tile laying game. Yeah, it's a fast-paced tile laying game. We make Wild, which is a trick-taking game. We make Smile, which is another small card game, similar to a trick-taking game. That one's a little different. We have one coming up called World. We're very excited about. It's more of a traditional board game, has a different twist to it because it's a very 3D element. So yeah, we do have a number of other titles.
And obviously, you guys sell in retail all over the world. You have your own website, just wyrdgames.com, right?
That is correct. Yeah, you can get it from our website. You can get it from your local game store. Most places that sell games might stock our product, like probably do stock our products. But yeah, it's all over the world. Get it from our website. Yeah.
I've seen most retailers carry Wyrd, so that has never been a problem for me to get a hold of. So that's awesome. Next question: will more models from Malifaux be added to TOS?
There are no plans for that at this time. So yeah. Yeah. So TOS and Malifaux, just for those who don't know, take place in the same world. And we have had a lot of models that are in both TOS and Malifaux in the past, and there are no current plans to do more that are in both, but that very well could. Like that, we're not actively working on it right now. That doesn't mean it won't happen in the future.
You guys really do have a great community too. They're really asking some good questions. They know your brand pretty well. Thanks for coming to the stream, by the way. This is our first one for Wyrd, and I hope to have many, many more. Next question, and I hope I read this right. So I'm a little dyslexic, so just bear with me. This is a longer one. With Arcanists and Thunders Down a Master, the Seelas expected and Outcasts. Can we expect the factions to be brought to parity soon, or will they continue to be uneven for a while?
They will be brought to parity soon. So basically, when we changed over to 4th edition, we used to have dual faction masters. Master you could use in either of two factions, right? And because of that, like there was an equal number in every faction, and we ended that sort of like dual faction master alignment, and that threw off our numbers, and 10 Thunders and Arcanists came up short. They're one short, basically. And we will have the next 2 keywords released will be Arcanists and 10 Thunders, and bring them up to even. Yep.
That sounds like stuff they want to hear. So will the other side get support in the near future?
Short answer, yes. Long answer, I can't talk about it. Right. This is something that we definitely bring up pretty much every staff meeting. It's like, what's happening with, like, is that thing with TOS moving? Like, but yeah. So start of the next year, I think keep your eyes out for announcements. We do have plans for it.
Awesome. Who's your favorite master?
Um, yeah, it depends on like how you're framing that question, right? Because I started as a player and I started playing Summer Teeth Jones in the Bayou, right? The Gremlin boss, way back in the day. That was always my favorite to play. Um, and I got from there into all of the outcasts that were out at the time in first edition. So the Victorias, the Leviticus. I also played Resurrectionist. So I played Seamus. I played a lot of stuff. In terms of like design, like fourth edition stuff that we just worked on, I'm really happy with how Whizbang came out. So Wong is a gremlin magician. He's a lot of fun, a lot of chaos, a lot of randomness. It's the kind of thing that I got to design him, and he's the kind of model that I like to play. But I think that also excellent work was done on Terra and Obliteration. Because while like I did start with Bayou, I also really like the Outcast because at the time that I started playing, like Bayou was basically in the Outcast. So I have a special love for Outcast. So Obliteration, I'm really excited to play. And yeah, there's a lot of really fun ones in fourth edition. Like I could kind of go on, but I think there are other questions. So.
As a game designer, it is kind of like a loaded question, right? Because like I obviously designed a bunch of stuff as well with the UVS games, Jasco games back in the day, and a bunch of board games and stuff. And from the designer perspective, mechanics like really can call to you, and then you also have the theme, and then you have like the meta. And between all three of those, it's like it's hard to pick. Like
it's like what is your favorite movie? And it's like, well, horror movie, comedy, like these are different. I don't know. Yeah.
But good question nonetheless. So next one, will there be acrylic tokens made available for Malifaux?
Maybe. Yeah, I that's the kind of thing that we would absolutely have our eye on. So yeah, that is a definite possibility in the future.
When it comes to tokens, we do have a really good partner with Norse Foundry. I can connect you guys, no problem, anytime you want. We also have another partner that's looking to get in with Norse Foundry that just now purchased an accessories company. So there's some potential there. Obviously, you're a manufacturer and you can make your own tokens, but there's some cool crossovers if you guys are interested. Next one is there a chance we will get a narrative campaign expansion like the one from M2E?
Well, the question was, is there a chance? And the answer
I was going to say, they just say you have to be like, of course.
To be super vague, right? I'll say this. I wrote the campaign for M2E, and I was very excited to do so. And Mordheim is one of my favorite games ever outside of Wyrd games, right? Which is also strongly campaign based.
Fantastic too. Yeah, I mean, like, definitely like love both games because of the skirmish element.
Yeah, so if there is one thing that I would advocate for internally, it would be a narrative campaign. But I can't speak to the future. But a lot of these questions are like, what is this thing that's coming out? And I'm like, I can't really, even when I know, I'm like the tokens thing. I'm like, I don't know how much I can say or how much I should say, or like I'm not the one in charge of that, right? So rules questions I can answer definitively. What is coming out when? I can give you, vague Magic 8-Ball answers, right?
And you're gonna keep getting them. You ready?
Yeah.
Can we expect newer models for each keyword in the future, similar to what we got for M3E, Madness, and Ashes?
I mean, yeah, it depends on the keyword, right? I don't know. I'm not going to promise them for every keyword, right? But we will definitely expand on existing keywords as we go. Some keywords just have more models than others, right? So if your keyword already has like, I don't know, 20 unique models in it, you're probably not getting a new one anytime soon, right? But if you're a keyword that's short on models compared to the others, expect that you probably will get one, but I'm not going to promise it at any explicit time.
It makes perfect sense. Before we get in, there's still at least 3-4 more questions. There's more and more coming, but don't forget to scan the QR code below, or you miss your chance to get the 500 bonus XP during the spin. So just that kind of your final reminder before we get into that. Are you working on a solo play mode is the next question.
That's a good question. I cannot answer what I am working on, but just like the campaign, that would be something I would personally be very excited to see.
Good answer. Now that Fourth has been in the wild for a while, have you seen anything surprising from the community? Broken combos, weird meta, etc.
Not too surprising. I mean, mostly because I've been doing this for 13 years. Oh God, I'm old. So I'm used to the sort of broken combos people. So people come up with broken combos. I'm like, oh yeah, that was probably gonna happen, right? Like, so, but yeah, it's just really cool to see people playing it.
Yeah, and shout outs to those who can make a broken combo, because it's fun to break those techniques and be creative like that. Maybe not be the best thing for the game in the long run, but that's why we have rules and FAQ and new editions and everything else. But I think it's fun.
It's part of it, right? Like some people see the game as a narrative experience, some people see it as a puzzle to solve, right? And both are valid. So enjoy.
So this is a good question for Jason, but you could probably help me answer this too. So how will we be able to earn XP with Wyrd? Obviously, sign up for the Spotlight events. As soon as their store button is added at the beginning of the year next year, you can earn it through loyalty. So purchase products from Wyrd. This also goes for the retail stores that end up working with you guys direct. We do have a way to link retail direct to Wyrd Miniatures, so you can get your wholesale items, your price support, your window clings, your point of sale stuff as a retailer, and other events. So we'll be doing lots of stuff like this live stream throughout the year next year as well. And you'll just have to keep an eye on our events, join the events, earn achievements, and earn XP so you can get more of that sweet, sweet Wyrd swag. I don't know, Justin, do you have more to add to that?
Not really. We're excited to work with you guys. I know like you said, the store's not up yet, so I can definitely sympathize with people who are like, you're giving us all these ways to earn XP. What is it? But once that store's up, then hopefully you guys will enjoy it.
XP is the credit that you use for the Wyrd official store. The only place you can use Wyrd credit or anyone's specific XP other than on their store is on the XP Network official site. You can get cool swag like this. There's a lot more coming soon. We usually have like exclusive Comic-Con items, very limited edition things, and publisher promoted items. We're not here to compete with stores or compete with publishers. We're just here to show off all the cool things and give you a centralized hub for XP. For instance, when a store is still being set up, there is some technical backend and all this where you have to link a Shopify and create your value of your XP and your loyalty program, and all of that stuff does take some business side to make all these decisions and get it going. But we're really, really excited. There will be a lot more events, and also Wyrd goes to a ton of conventions, and we will be heavily supporting convention interaction and the ability to earn XP live from our publishers. So check that out next year. We'll be starting the year with Gamma and I think South by Southwest. And we'll be going to all kinds of events as well as XP Network. So I hope to kind of follow the Wyrd train of events, because you guys go to a whole bunch, as far as I'm aware. But it's 2 minutes till the end of the show, so we're going to do the wheel spin now. So get your final clicks in. If you're not in right now, you're not going to be on the wheel. I'll give you about 10 seconds to final scan, and then we'll go ahead and do that last call. Don't forget to download Ponga Champions for iPhone. You can get 3,000 XP just for joining. That XP can be used on the XP Network store and the upcoming Pong of Champions store, which will have some really cool swag. And you can get DLC directly from the game with XP. It is an awesome integration. We will be linking to more video games next year, so stay tuned to that. But without further ado, I can never see this actual wheel because we don't see what's on Twitch and everything else right now, or Kick or YouTube. So I'm going to just make the sound effect. Ding, 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 ding. We have a winner, potentially, maybe. This is my nerdy side coming out. Let's see who our winner is. The winner today for the 500 Wyrd XP is Dagon, or Dagon, however you pronounce it, Dagon. Congratulations. You have 500 bonus XP to the Wyrd store coming in the beginning of the year. You can still see your Wyrd balance of your XP right now if you go to the store on XP Network. Look at Wyrd Miniatures, Wyrd Games, and you'll see your live XP right there. Before we end today's call, We have a couple updates. This will be the last publisher spotlight for the year and moving into the beginning of the year, but we will have events every single week up until the next spotlight. We're going to be kicking off 2026 with Modifius, Wise Wizards, and Trivium Studios. So stay tuned to that next year. Don't forget to try to save up for your XP swag. And finally, Justin, any last words for Wyrd Games before we go off to the weekend?
Oh, just thank you for having me, and thank you to the community for playing our games. I hope you're enjoying, and yeah, I'm excited for what we have coming up.
Yep, keep gaming. And by the way, you can do your local game nights still with XP Network at your house or at your local game store. Organizers, retailers, publishers, be sure to sign up. Get that XP, give it out to your community, and support those players for playing every single week. Otherwise, everybody have a great weekend. Justin, thanks so much. And Wyrd team, thank you guys so much for joining us on the back end there. But you guys all have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.